Have you ever wanted to go to a movie theater, but you wanted to be fancy about it? Then you gotta check out the Palladio Luxe Cinema. Welcome to the Crop Top Critic. I'm Alex and I love everything movies, TV, and geeky related. And I want you to love that stuff too. Today's movie theater highlight is for the Palladio Luxe Cinema in Folsom, California. My wife and I went on a date to see Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and while the movie itself left much to be desired, the theater was a fun treat. We got there about 30 minutes before the start of the movie, so we had a seat at a table in the lounge, and my first impression of this theater was, gosh dang, this place is fancy. They had all these sections of expensive looking tables and chairs for people to sit and chill out in, and this really cool bar for you to walk up and get drinks. And over the loudspeakers, they were playing soundtracks from various movie franchises. And my favorite from the night that we went was from the Kill Bill movies. It's like, oh, this is so cool. There's also a giant portrait of legendary actor James Dean just looking out over the lounge. And while it was very impressive, after a while it started to look like James Dean was like staring into my soul, so I had to walk away. But my absolute favorite thing about the Luxe Lounge was there was this section where it had like 2 sofas and 2 flat screen TVs, and they had football on. There's no better way to spend your time while you're waiting for a movie than watching football. And it's not something I expected them to have or necessarily needed for them to have, but the fact that they just have that available, it's an option, just made me so happy. I'm a simple man to please. After we tested the vibe of the lounge, my wife and I went and got drinks from the bar. And 1, the bartenders were extremely friendly, and 2, they were very helpful in guiding us through the menu on like what we should order. Because I personally don't like drinks that taste too much like alcohol. I need the alcohol hidden in the flavor, which is dangerous, I know. I ended up ordering a cherry limeade, and it just, it was the perfect combination of just the sweet and sour, and I like gulped it up, completely forgetting that there's alcohol in the drink. I do not recommend you do this. But it was exactly what I wanted. Like, definitely would get drinks here again. If you're getting value out of this video so far, make sure to hit the like button and then subscribe to the channel, because that tells me that you want me to make more of these videos, and I love doing this stuff, so I'm happy to oblige you. So once we got our drinks, we went into the actual theater, which is much smaller than theaters you'd see at like Regal or Cinemark, which personally I appreciated because it makes for a more intimate and cozy experience, but I would understand if you would find it a bit claustrophobic. So then we get over to our reserved seats, and man, these seats are cushioned cushions, you know? Like, they're the type of seat where you sit down in and you just start sinking into them like, oh yeah. And the seats also recline, which is a must for me now. But the funny thing about it is that when these seats recline, they go all the way back. So you're basically like horizontal, like you're laying down in a bed, which is pretty dangerous if you're at a slow part in a movie, because you might be tempted to fall asleep. And I'm speaking from personal experience. I almost fell asleep in these seats. Granted, it was while we were watching Aquaman 2, which isn't the best movie, but I held on. Oh man, and I don't know if it's just because the theater was small or they got like mega speakers over at the Luxe, but the sound system was incredible. The audio was so clear and crispy that I could hear Jason Momoa blinking. It was that perfect. And now I can't tolerate any other sound system in a theater. One of the cool things about Luxe while you're watching the movie is that you can have food and drinks ordered to your seat. That way you don't have to miss any of the movie in case you want to get something. Unfortunately for my wife and I, the kitchen was closed that night due to a staff shortage, so we weren't able to try any of their entrees. But we were able to try their truffle parmesan popcorn. Ooh, Lord Jesus, that was delicious. I will admit that it can be a bit distracting because, you know, staff are constantly walking throughout the theater, you know, squeezing past people like, hey, excuse me, is this your food? Did you order this? Yeah, you know, there's a lot of whispering going on, and sometimes there's always going to be that one guy who's like, oh yeah, that's my food, bring it over here, you know, heck loud about it, but you can't help what other people do. There's pros and cons to every service. But besides that, it's a cool environment. I had a good time at this theater. So if you're in the Folsom area of California and you're looking for an interesting time at the movies, go check out the Palladio Luxe Cinema. And go support the theater industry because 1, it's so much fun, and 2, it's a great way to connect with your community about our mutual love of movies. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, click on the boxes right here, and I'll see you in a bit.